Waka, 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 waka. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson. And joining me always is the Bandhammer.
Howdy, UntetheredLive.
Howdy, Bandhammer. How art thou?
I am good.
And thine is wonderful.
Always.
It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day for America, everybody. What's going on out there in the great spacious, wild, outer space? What have you done today? You kill any Indians?
No.
Did you rustle any wagons?
No. Rustle bed.
Did you poke any pigs?
No.
Did you make any coffee?
Of course.
Now, I got a great cup of coffee right here, and it's nice and hot, and thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I can handle my ubiquitous extolling of Perspicacious Serendipity with this nice hot cup of coffee, which I intend to do later on. Don't you want to have a cup with me? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup of coffee, and let's get talking about something. If you don't have a cup, though, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has my face on it. It is fantastic. Also, there's other things down there, too, like a Ford F-150 or a Cybertruck or, one of those things at the Ferris wheel at the Tilt-A-Whirl. You can get one of those. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about that. You might could get a hat. But check it out anyway down there. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you'd like to show a little bit of love. If you'd like to get all freaky and, you can do that at CashApp $JakeJohnsonBand or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. One last thing, if you'd like to hang out with us outside of the YouTubeverse, go on over to Facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to hang out and share pictures, videos, texts, and chat and get to know each other. There is a private chat over there that's just us. It's just for us. And you can go over there and chat privately over there. That way. Go check it out. There's videos that are updated regularly that are adjacent to or concerning directly the things we talk about over here. They are short. They are free. They're entertaining. They're fun. They're enjoyable. They're any other, adverb. They're adverbally. There's no reason not to be there, so go check us out. And also, come over here and check us out. And also, everywhere else on the internet where we are, go check us out. That's all you can do. Be sure to like. And on with the show. Who's first in chat? Amanda, you're first in chat.
Hi, UntetheredLive family. Good to see y'all.
Camel.
Yeah, there you go. Happy hump day.
Hump day.
Hey, Jake, how are you tonight? Humpily.
Free. Flowing in the wind.
Humpily.
Like letting my hair down a little bit today.
I see that. How about fixing your thirds while you're letting your hair down?
Kiss my ass where it looks like a fig.
No. I'll kiss your ass right there, that hairy spot where you just put that coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
Mark a spot. You're all ass.
Of course I am. Don't be ridiculous. I made being an ass a profession.
Ain't that the truth?
And I do good at it.
Judy,
you get a gold star for being first in chat. And she says, hey, Jake and Amanda, so glad you're here, Jake. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, Judy. Nice to see you.
I'm glad he's here, too.
I got hair flying all over the place.
Judy, here's your gold star and hamburger helper hand.
How was your day, Judy? Are you having a good time?
Yes, how you doing?
Chines is here. Hello, Chris. Chris says, hi, all. Hello, Chris. Nice to see you. How are you doing on a Wednesday afternoon?
Hump day.
Hump day.
Are you humpily, too?
No. Wait, what?
We're humpily on hump days.
Yes, I like to hump. I'm like one of those little dogs with a flat face that looks like they've been hit with a 2x4. A little squeaky toy. I like it. I like squeaky toys and I cannot lie. Sorry. I'll never do that again.
Oh, weirdo.
Here's a link to the chilling page if you want to check it out. And Judy says, hey, Chris. Chris says, Walking the dogs. Is that a euphemism for something? Is that what your kids are calling it these days? Linda Davis is here. She says, happy Camel Day. Camel, camel. Nice to see you, Linda. How are you?
Hamburger helper hand, Linda.
And Judy says, hey, Linda. And Kevin Bernard, what's up, my brother? Nice to see you. He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Hey, Kev. How you doing, buddy? How's your Wednesday shaping up?
Hamburger helper hand, Linda and Kevin.
And Judy says, good day. Thanks. Good day.
Good day, mate.
Nice to see you. Have a shrimp on the babby. Or something. What is that thing that squirts in your butt when you go to the bathroom? And
A sitz bath.
I don't know what it is.
I think they're
A
called
duvet.
duvet. Yeah,
A
duvet.
bidet.
But it's a
Bidet,
sitz-
that's it.
It's like a sitz bath.
A duvet you go under. A bidet goes in. I got it.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm. Amanda says.
Hamburger helper hand, Linda and Kevin.
Judy says, hey, Kevin. And Chris says, tomorrow is my Friday.
I know.
I'm pretty sure it's your Thursday.
No, it says Friday. He must work Sunday through Friday or Sunday through Thursday.
How does he get a Friday that nobody else gets?
Because he works Sunday through Thursday. So that would
So
make
do I.
Thursday his Friday. No, you work. I'm talking about work week.
I work both sides of the Friday.
Well, not everybody burns both candles at the end. Or all candles at the
While
however
holding
it's
it in the
said.
middle.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. Linda says, hey, Kevin. Smiley face. Kevin says, hello, Judy, Chris, and Linda. Chris says, bidet. Bidet.
Oh, he works 410s. That explains it.
I've done that before. I hate that. Except for the fact that it feels like you don't have a job for half of a week. Because you get 4 days on, 3 days off. Yep. I've also worked 7/12s, and I'm promising you that's not fun. That is not a good day. Any of them. None of them are good.
He's worked from sunup to 2 hours past sundown 6 days a week, too.
I have. It is tiring. 10s. 4 10s. I got it. I work for, yeah, he was just trying to. Why did you say that twice? You
Probably
said it
'cause
right the first time.
He's walking the dog.
Oh, walking it up, walking.
He's
It's
not paying attention.
Well, put that yo-yo down and pay attention to me. Debbie's here. She says, hamburger brand. Hey, Debbie. How are you? Chris says, this is what I get for trying to text and walk. Try some, pop in a piece of bubble gum while you're at it there, buddy. See if you don't fall.
Debbie, hamburger helper. I can't talk.
I know, right?
Hamburger helper hand, Debbie.
Welcome to my world. Kevin says, hello, Debbie. Hello, Debbie. Anyway.
Glitter.
Glitter Grounds is here. She says, camel, camel, camel. Good evening, friends. Smiley faces and hearts. Hey, Amber. Nice to see you. Camel, camel.
She's got a two hump, and a one hump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wants to hump twice, and hump once.
I guess that's true. Hump, 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 hump. That's Morse code.
Yeah.
Blink if you're in trouble. Judy says, 3-day weekend. Nice. Every week. Nice. Yes. It feels like that. When you work 4 10s, you get it out of the way immediately. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're done. That's 40 hours. Anything past that is overtime. And if you have a job that works you on Saturdays sometimes, those days are nice when you get the paycheck. Because that's the big money.
Yeah, but it seems like when you get the overtime checks and you get the overtime hours, it's that Saturday that you're just all excited to get to work and work all day and get her done. And it's Monday through Friday that you're dreading getting up to go to work.
I'm doing the 10 to 5 thing, which I don't like because there's 1 hour shy, but it don't feel like it. So you work like 35 hours a week, but it doesn't feel like any difference between 35 and 40 hours or 30 and 40, whatever it works out to. I don't even know. It don't feel like it, right? So I'm still tired. I still went all day, only I don't get that extra hour, which makes that money, or extra 2 hours.
But you have very tedious stuff and a lot of heat that you deal with.
Yes.
And your stuff's got to be focused.
Yes.
People don't realize that until you're doing it.
It's very, very hard to do something so simple. Yes. Amber says, look, I have a heart that's surprised to see a hamburger helper hand. And Judy says, hey, Amber, and thank you for the super cutie card. Very nice. I got one of those too right here on my desk.
I got one in here on mine too.
Linda says, and black. Kevin says, hello, Amber. Hello, Amber. How come every time you say that, I think of Newman on Seinfeld? Hello, Newman. Judy says, hey, Debbie. And Amber says, blink, 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 blink. With a bunch of a green heart and stars and smiley faces and a black heart in the middle. After my own heart. So, what's going on, everybody? It has been a trying week, to say the least.
Nugget.
Big old Nugget. What's up, buddy? He says, good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a blessed day. We did. Or I did. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but my day was pretty blessed.
Well, it was pretty good. Nugget, hamburger, Abraham.
And cursed. It was cursed, too.
Oh, yeah?
Blessed and cursed. Amber says, Nuggy. Smiley faces and hearts. Kevin says, hello, John.
Poor Tribble this morning. You would have think Jake broke her heart just pure in half. He takes her out in the mornings before he goes to work, and he usually leaves her out there. I'll bring her in later on in the afternoon. Well, he took her out this morning, and he brought her back in before he left to go to work, and she lost her ever-loving mind. You would think somebody took all of her toys and locked her in the smallest room possible and just abandoned her. She just moping around out and just moping and sad and wouldn't play and didn't want to do nothing. I was like, oh, you poor baby. Daddy broke his routine and left you inside. It was quite funny. I should have videotaped it and sent it to you.
Well.
Moping around here like you done took her best friend away.
If you gotta do something, you gotta do something. Kevin says, well, I'm really tired. Probably not gonna be awake much longer. I'm with you. I might fall asleep on the stream. Might be a world first. Watching a live sleep stream. Be a sleep stream. Chill stream and then sleep stream. I could go for that.
Yeah.
My brain isn't even functioning. Amber says the weather is about to downpour here. I feel like it might want to rain here, but I don't see any signs of it. I mean, you go outside, it looks like a normal night, but my bones tell me it's a rainy coming, you know.
Probably.
So I don't know. It might not. Debbie says, did Linda wear you out, Kevin?
Uh-oh.
John says, I've had a busy day. I've been painting my house for 14 hours. Got it done. Excellent. What color did you paint it? And were you painting it by hand or with a gun?
14 hours, he was probably rolling it.
Well, you never know. I've done houses where you have to scrape everything before you paint it. All that. And it's a very, very hands-on job. Linda says, only in my dreams, Debbie. Well, what a good dream that would be, wouldn't it? Amber says, painting your house. That's what he said. And Judy says, good job, Nugget. Yeah, great job. I'm glad you got it finished. I hate leaving things undone. That's the reason I don't do anything. Because when I get started, I want to finish. I don't like leaving things half done. I'm very,
Then you got to get him motivated to get him started.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to hem haw. I like to either do it or not do it. You know what I mean? I'm that kind of guy. So, and I'm very anal about things. They have to be the way I have to have them, you know. So starting a project is like cranking an old lawnmower. You jerk on it and jerk on it and jerk on it, and maybe it'll be agreeable after a while if you put enough gas in it and kick it a few times and cuss and jerk it a few more times. But then it'll crank up and go. And then it'll cut the grass like nothing else you own.
That's what she said.
That's just the way it is. Yeah. But I've had a very trying week. I had to go to court, and I got one more I got to do. And for a minute there, I thought I was going to go to jail. And it ain't over yet. It still could end up that way. But I live to fight another day, and that's all that matters. Debbie says, I get that. If you don't start, you never have to finish. Right. You see, she knows. Ain't no quitting that fella. Just ain't no start. John says white roller and cutting in brush, bathrooms, bedrooms, kitchens, hallways. So you're painting the inside of the house. That's what I was asking, because when you said you were painting your house, I pictured you painting the outside of the house. I don't know why. Makes more sense that you were painting in the house. Yeah. But that's a good job. I'm glad you got it done. I've got to do my house with kills and then paint it in certain areas. Amber says, I keep getting the circle of death like I'm trying to keep signal. If I get thrown out, just know there's a bunch of smiley faces and hearts and prayers everywhere. Well, if you get thrown out, just keep on until you come back in. You know what the old saying is, if at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Imagine that.
So I guess you guys want to know why I went to court. I'm going to tell you, but I want you to understand that it is dangerous for me to share so much. So if you're not my friend, leave. If you'll go back and check the record, you'll note that about a decade ago is when all of this woke stuff started. And if you'll check, you'll note that all over the country, people started having run-ins with the school system. Kevin says, I'm real sorry, but I'm going to call it a night. Good night, everybody. Kevin, get you some rest, buddy. I love you, man. Get some sleep and rejuvenate, because that's more important. And have a good night. We love you. Amanda says, night, Kev. Judy says, good night, Kevin. So anyway, I got caught up in a political strike, and I had to fight for my children, and I lost. And I lost my children. And the official response was neglect and abuse. That's what they accused me of, and it took me about 6 months to get that.
Hold on a minute. Now, they don't know the beginning.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. I'm telling the thing, and then I'll explain why it is that way. So, neglect and abuse. That's what was written on the paper that I finally got after 6 months of trying. You have to understand that I never seen a police officer. I never talked to any investigators. I never talked to any officials.
And you've had your kids since they were born. You've had full custody of your kids since they were born.
Yes. I raised my children for 14 years without incident. As a single father, very happy single father. 2 kids. I put them through school. I educated them at home. They were smart. They were well-mannered. They never misbehaved or got in trouble. They were well-read. My son was reading novels before he went to kindergarten. Not lying. Both of them played musical instruments. Both of them were into things like Grey's Anatomy and the Encyclopedia Britannica and things like that. They both had computers. They were very intelligent, very well-mannered, well-rounded, very nice kids. All of a sudden, my daughter starts cutting herself, which was a shock to me, because the first time I heard about it was when I got called from the school and was told I needed to be there. And I said, well, what's going on? Did something happen? Is there any trouble? You just need to come down here right now. Okay, all right. So I get in my truck, I drive down there. They put me in a big white room with a big white table and a little tiny infant chair I'm sitting on. And then 4 people come in the room, and they begin to talk to me about random things. Like one time there was a kid that committed suicide at the school. One time somebody's parents' house burned down. They're trying to talk to me about trauma. But I don't have any idea what's going on. So I finally just snap and say, hey, somebody tell me what the hell's going on. Apparently, either something, and I'm being wishy-washy because I don't know the details. This is the way it was, the way I received it. Apparently, either they caught my daughter or somebody told on my daughter. She was in there in the bathroom cutting herself with a razor blade.
After watching a video at school.
Will you let me tell the story? Thank you. So, I finally, after 35 minutes of sitting there listening to them talk, basically trying to cover their ass, and then they handed me a piece of paper that I needed to sign, which was hey, we explained this to you. We're not in trouble. We didn't do it. Okay, so I signed that. Cover your ass paper is what I signed. And I got up and I walked through the 4 people that were standing there to leave. And they said, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, first thing I'm going to do is get my kids and go home and find out what the hell's going on. Because I didn't get it from them. Only thing I got from them after 35 minutes was that she cut herself with a razor blade. I had no idea why. I had no idea where she got the razor blade. I had no idea how they found out or anything. The only thing I knew is that it happened. So I took my kids and I went home. Well, I didn't say anything to them that day. I figured trauma was trauma enough. I was just going to let them be home and be safe. And so we were all home. The next day comes, I sit my daughter down and we start talking about it. Come to find out, and I'm going to push a little bit because I'm not going to get into the details of the discussion that we had, but it was very long and laborious and a lot of arguing and a lot of, trying to figure out what is causing this in her mind to make her do something like that. About 6 months later, while in the midst of all of this court drama, I found out that week they were doing a Child Abuse Awareness Month at school. They had started it that week or the week before that. And they were showing videos about abuse at school, and she learned about cutting from one of those videos. And I guess she decided she wanted to do it. So she did. They didn't like that I brought that up, but that's a fact. That's what they were doing. What I didn't know is at that time, not only were they showing that, but there was a political shift in the school, and there was a bunch of wokies. My particular town is really bad about this LGBTQ stuff, that's in schools. Well, my daughter got wrapped up in that. And apparently she's gay. I didn't know that either because there was no discussion about it ever, or even any hint that that was a problem. Apparently she got wrapped up in that scene, and some people started hanging out with her or whatever, and she got into a crowd, and she started changing very rapidly, might I say. So I know that now, but I did not know that then. You have to understand that. So the next day, DSS calls me, which is the government officials for whatever, human resources, social services, whatever you want to call it, DSS. They said, we need to come by the house and make sure everything's okay. I was like, all right, come on. A lady comes. She looks through my house. She opens my refrigerator. She opens my cabinet. She walks through every room in the house. She comes back to the doorway and says, I need to talk to your kids alone. I said, not in a million years will that ever happen. They're minors. I tell you what I'll do. I'll walk around the edge of this door here, and you can sit at the table and talk to them, but you're not going to be with my kids alone without me present. So I allowed that. She talked to both of them for about a minute, and she got up and she said, have a nice day, and she left. She turned around at the door. She says, are the kids going to be in school tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't be. And she left. The next day comes, I send my kids to school. I've never seen them again. They never came home. 1 o'clock that afternoon, that lady calls me. I answered the phone. I said, hello. She says, are you home? She didn't say hello, just, are you home? Like, yeah. Why? Did something happen again? She says, no, you need to come outside. So I walk outside, and there she is, and there's a cop behind her. She says, don't worry about him. He's here for me. I said, okay. And as she said that, he pulled away. I never saw him. He never got out of the car. He was just escorting her to the house, make sure I didn't hurt her or something, whatever. She hands me a card through the window of her car and says, this is your court date. You need to be there. I've taken your kids, and they're now wards of the state. And I broke. I fell down, whatever, however you act when you lose your children. A lot of why and, what you need to bring them back and how dare you and all that was going on. So she leaves. This is 2 weeks later. I haven't seen my kids in 2 weeks. They've never left my sight in 14 years unless they went to school or they went to their mother's, period. I was always there. I didn't do babysitters. I didn't do daycare. I watched my kids. I changed their diapers. I made their formulas. I kissed their bruised knees. I put them to bed. I prayed with them. I cooked for them. I was their mama and their daddy. They never left my sight. 2 weeks, no children. I can't tell you what that's like. I can't tell you what kind of damage that, or what kind of horror that is to just have no kids all of a sudden. Apparently, they don't think it's a big deal. I do. I go to court. I have 5 lawyers against me and a public defender who works for them. So 6 lawyers against me. And I don't know the rules to the game we're playing. I don't understand what's going on or why it's happening. I'm angry as a hornet's nest that's just been kicked. And I'm trying desperately to play fair because I'm just trying to get through this and hoping that at some point an adult will stand up and say, this is a big misunderstanding. Let's put an end to it. That never happened. The bottom line is they understood that they were in a position to destroy a family, and that's exactly what they intended to do. And that was a decision that was made before I ever stepped in that building. I never had a chance. They never offered me an option to get back to my kids, despite me asking several times. They never produced an actual accusation towards me. I asked many times, what is this about? Why are you doing this? No answers. I asked if I could face my accuser. Nope. Can't do that either. Don't even know who made the accusation. Don't even know how it happened. So I fight for about 6 months in court, and I'm a quick study. So I'm basically defending myself because my lawyer won't even object to anything, no matter what they say. They take every word I say and twist it. They take everything I do and try to turn it around and make it look at me like I'm some kind of criminal or something, despite the fact I was never arrested or even spoke to a police officer. There was no police report. It took me about 6 months to get a police report, and I never saw it. They just said they had it. The only thing I did see in the way of paperwork is that piece of paper that was from the courthouse that said what the case was about, neglect and abuse. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but those are 2 of the most nebulous terms on planet Earth. They could mean literally anything, both of them. So I have 2 accusations that could mean anything. Did they tell me what they mean? No. I went to parent classes. I went to anger management classes. I went to psychological evaluations. A lot of it. A whole program. I went through all 3 of those. When I got back, the results were inconclusive. Why? Because they couldn't find anything wrong with me. Because there's nothing wrong with me. I was drug tested every time I walked in the building, despite the fact that that's not part of this argument. Nobody ever accused me of being on drugs. I don't do drugs or drink alcohol, but they treated me like I did anyway. At the end of all of those programs, the judge said, that's not good enough. I said, why not? They said, because you didn't talk about what you did. I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? You have to admit what you did. I can't admit to something that hasn't happened. I'll do it again. I tell you what, just tell me what you want me to say. If it'll get me back to my kids, I'll say it. That wasn't good enough. So I had to do all 3 of those programs a second time, and the same result at the end, inconclusive. There's nothing wrong with me. I didn't do anything wrong. Still haven't seen my kids. It's been 6 months now. I've not seen my children. I finally, I get supervised visitation with my son, 1 hour a week. Starts out at DSS with a caseworker standing in the room right beside me and my son. First time I get to see him in about 6 months. I spent the whole hour just holding him, didn't say a word. This went on for about a year now. About a year, I'd get 1 hour a week. Eventually, they finally let me start meeting at McDonald's with his mother, and she would supervise. But I didn't get to spend any time with my son. or take him anywhere or be with him. Never saw my daughter. Still to this day, this is a decade ago. I haven't seen my daughter in almost a decade. If she was standing right in front of me, I wouldn't know what she looked like. How about that? So, obviously, after taking my children, they wanted me to pay child support, which I did in the beginning because we were going to court. I was trying to get my kids back. But when they finished the court case without me finishing my argument, they just ended it after so many days. When I realized that there was no possibility of me getting my children back, there's nothing I could do. The only thing I could do was sell my house and hire an attorney that would destroy them. But if I did that, I would have nothing to leave my children because it's literally the only thing I have. So I played the cards that were handed me. And when I got to the end of it, I lost. So I chose not to pay any more to them. The reason I chose that was because I spent 14 years paying for everything they needed without anybody ever having to tell me to do so. And I'm not going to be forced at the end of a gun over the threat of being put in a box to pay for my children that I haven't seen. I'm not going to do it. I don't care what you threaten me. Prison? I've been in prison since the day you took my children. My kids basically died because I'll never see them again. I got pictures of them from that age. That's the last time I'll ever see them. So they're not in my life anymore. So there you have it. That's the truth. That's what I'm accused of. And that's why I was going to court over child support. I'm still not going to pay it. I'm not going to be forced to pay for my kids that I have had no meaningful contact with. Not going to do it. I hope that wasn't too much of a downer, but you deserve to know you're my friends. Or maybe you're not. Maybe I'll lose you too. That's fine. I mean, you don't lose your kids unless you did something wrong, right? So I've been through that. I've lost people. I've lost reputation. I've lost sleepless nights. I've lost mental acuity. I've lost sanity. I guess I can lose some more. If you are my friend, you'll understand. All you got to do is take a quick look around and you'll notice that I'm not the only person this has happened to. It's literally happening all over the country and has been for a decade. And the only time it stopped is when Trump won, which is forever why I will support him. It stopped then. Now we can have a conversation about it. Before then, if you went to a school board and raised concerns, they would just drag you out kicking and screaming to the jail because we were ran by a dictator, communist dictator. And I am a victim of that. And that is the only time you'll hear me refer to myself as a victim, because the state did, in fact, kidnap my family, and I have not seen them again. So there you have it. You can believe what you want to believe. You can think I'm a bad guy or a criminal or a deadbeat parent or whatever it is you want to believe, and I deserve that. Fine, I'll handle it. Whatever you want to do. If you want to leave, that's fine. If you want to hang out and support me, that's fine. But I will not admit to something I didn't do, and I will not be threatened by a government that just wants to destroy me. Won't do it. It's not going to happen. Well, thank you, Judy. I could use some of that. But anyway, that's why I was in court. And it's not over yet, but it's getting close. Both of my kids are 18 now, so they really can't force me to do anything.
Well, they're in their 20s now.
I mean, they're over 18.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of not knowing what was going on and a lot of me overreacting and being angry because that's the state you're in when you can't get to your kids. I wanted to kill everybody involved, and I really, really, really had to wrestle with myself not to. And the only reason I didn't, if I'm honest with myself, is because I didn't want to prove them right and have my kids think of me as a monster. Because one day they're going to grow up, and one day reality is going to smack them in the face. I hope I'm alive when this happens. One day they're going to realize how wrong what they did was and how bad the result was. I'm not the man I used to be. My faith was shaken. My heart was broken. My belief in everything was destroyed. And I had to learn the hard way that people are not on your side. They're not your friends. They will walk away from you if you get in trouble, which is what happened. I told that court that I could fill this room with people that would, that have been around me and saw me with my kids that would vouch for me. And I thought I could. And so they said, okay. They called my bluff. Bring them. So I set about asking everybody I knew to come vouch for me. That's all I asked for. Just show up and tell them what you know about me. And not one person showed up. Other than my sister, of course. Not one person. I'm the most popular guy in this town by far. And not one person showed up. But that'll show you. So I did what any red-blooded American would do when faced with an existential crisis. I started a ministry. It's the only way I knew to deal with what was going on. And you are the result of it. So thank you for that. Amanda, would you like to say anything?
I mean, you pretty much covered it all. I know the truth. I would, I wasn't there, but I've been there since, so.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that idea that you don't lose your kids unless you did something wrong is palpable, and a lot of people feel that way. And so I lost a lot of friends and family over this. But the thing is if this had happened 5 years earlier, it would have been illegal. They would have went to prison for what they did. If it had happened now, they would have went to jail for what they did. But it happened on a Democrat watch in a Democrat state with a bunch of LGBTQ people rioting and protesting all over the place. And they took that advantage and they used it as a weapon and they destroyed my family and my future and my lineage and everything that I had built.
And turned your daughter gay.
There you have it. My son, who was caught in the crosshairs, wasn't even part of the accusation. They took him too, because you can't take one and not the other, right? No proof, no police report, no anything. Just they decided to. That's it. They just decided to. And they did. And there's nobody to talk to above them. Who do you call? How do you stop a judge? I don't know. If you know, tell me, because I'd like to know. Badly. So, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs, and I'm trying to do something good in this world before I leave it. And when you show up, it matters. So thank you for that. All right, let's get back to the chat. Let's see how bad this turned out to be. So it gets my better judgment to tell you these things, but I felt like you needed to know. Where'd I leave off at?
You're at about 9 o'clock.
The last thing I read was Kevin saying good night.
Well,
okay.
And then we said good night to Kevin, and then now it's Patty.
Patty's here. She says, hello, children. Hi, Patty. Nice to see you.
Hamburger help her hand, Patty.
Judy says, hey, Patty. And Puppeteer says, your hair is long. Did it? Really?
Yeah, really?
I didn't notice. You like? And Judy says, hey, Puppet. Patty says, you look like a pot smoker. Really? That's amazing. I don't like it.
He's not a pot smoker.
Puppeteer says, hello, smiley face.
Hamburger help her hand, Puppet.
Puppet says, hello there, smiley face. And Patty says, hey, ladies and outlaws. Patty, nice to see you. Amber says, prayers and smiley faces. Amber says, Jake, smiley faces and prayers. And Judy says, thank you, Jake. My pleasure. Thank you, Judy. Amber says, hearts and prayers. Dennis is here. He says, all those people are evil, Jake. Sorry to hear this.
Yep.
Yeah, I was under attack from the devil. I believe that with all my heart, which is why I started a ministry in defense. It's the only thing I knew to do is start talking about the Bible. And that's what grounded me and kept me sane, because I can tell you from a certainty that I was spiraling the drain for quite some time over this. You don't just lose your children and not be affected by it. They just vanished. I mean, pitter-patter all over the house to nothing. Silence. And I'm here by myself. I don't have a family. I don't have parents, siblings. It's just me. For 15 years, just me.
And he sat here all by himself alone for 15 years until I came back into the picture. And he almost wouldn't let me do that.
Yeah, I've been punishing myself for a while. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to come out of this. And they keep pulling me back in. Amanda?
Hamburger helper hand, Dennis.
Judy says, my heart hurts for you. Thank you. Mine does too. Yeah, very much so. What left of it is there. It hurts. But thank you. Judy says, hey, Dennis. And Dennis says, Amanda, evening. And Judy says, I believe you, Jake. I hope somebody does, because that's the way it is. That's what happened. State-sanctioned kidnapping. That's what it was. There's no other way to see it. The lawyers that I talked to, they all acted like teenagers. They were angry and spiteful and bitter and snappy and not professional at all. Even the judge was like that, like man-hater type people. They were all women except for the 5 lawyers. There was about 4 men there. One was a real tall guy. And they kept trying to get me on things like, here's one exchange. They said that I was, what's the word? Intimidating my daughter. I was like, well, she came in the room and I asked her to wash the dishes. And she called me bruh. Like that, like, bruh. And I banged my fist on the table and said, now, young lady. Like that. Well, when that happened, I had a glass table on a metal frame. When I hit the table, that corner of it broke off, which I still used the table. I had pictures of it and everything to show them. Like, that's what happened. If you think that that's abusive, I'm sorry. It's not. It's just what men do. You don't call your dad bruh. That's just wrong. So while I was not answering their questions the way they wanted me to answer them, one of the lawyers banged his fist on the table and asked me to answer his question forcefully. And I was like, am I the only person here with a brain? Did you see that? It's the exact same thing you're trying to get me on. That's proof that that's normal human behavior. It's not abusive. It's just what happens when you're frustrated and you don't hit people. It's amazing. That's the kind of shit that I was dealing with. Things like that. They made up things. They lied. The DSS wrote articles of stuff that did not happen during our exchanges. And I got one guy fired over it because he was literally making up stories and then giving it to the court to say I said and did things that I didn't say and do. So I got him fired. Still didn't get my kids back, though. I lost that. I've lost every meaningful thing that has happened from about 13 on. I missed it all. I didn't even know they graduated when they did. The day I found out my daughter was going to college was the day she left to go to college, which is about 5 hours away. Newsflash, she quit. She wouldn't have if she was with me. And she would have went to a good college. Dennis says, hey, Judy. And John says, Jake, stay strong, brother. You got this. You have my full backing. We all love you. Thank you, Nugget. That means a lot. I I need those kind of friends because I sure didn't have any for a long time. Amber says, I believe you, Jake. The state of Georgia tried to take my two when my first husband molested our daughter. Okay, the first thing you need to understand up front is nothing like that happened. Nothing. But I hear what you're saying, and they do try that. They do overstep their authority, but in this case, they fabricated something and then overstepped their authority. There was nothing there, right? They literally just, the eye of Sauron landed on me, and they just put me in the machine, and it chewed me up. That's all there was to it. I didn't do anything wrong. I did not commit a crime. Amber says, during Safety Awareness Week, yes. That's exactly what it was. They fabricated the problem. They taught my daughter these things because she sure didn't learn that at my house. And then they punished me for it. They invented the problem, and I paid the price for it. Fab Daddy says, I fully understand that, Jake. Happy Hump Day. Thank you, Fab Daddy. The proof is in the pudding, though. We'll see if anybody shows up Friday. I love you guys, though. Thank you for being understanding. And that's what I was worried about Monday, so I live to fight another day. Amanda.
Hamburger, Abraham, Fab.
Judy says, hey, Fab. And Dennis says, they are still trying to steal from me. My child is 37. My baby mother signed away what I owed her, and so they said I owe the state money. Yeah, they're trying to get this is what I owe them. This is my child support. I owe them $1,000. I think there's some change, $1,053, something like that. Can you believe that? They paid people to stand in court, and they made me go to court, lose a day at work and everything, over $1,000. That's unbelievable.
That's 4 years old.
That's 4 years old, right?
4 years
longer.
out of date.
Yeah, maybe longer.
Well, they're both in their early 20s, like 21,
Yeah.
20 and 21.
Yeah. So somebody really wants that $1,000. It ain't my kids, I can tell you that. They'll never see that money. But somebody wants it bad. Bad enough to drag up a court case out of nowhere. That, which is funny. They sent a cop to my house to serve me with the papers to go to court over a thing that I never saw a police officer involved in. That makes sense to anybody? Is it just me?
That's just the way they do their
I saw
subpoenas.
more police with the subpoena than I did with the charge. It's amazing.
They even served me with a subpoena, and I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Did they?
Yeah, that second one that came, they served it to me, remember?
Oh, that was for me, though. They just gave it to you.
Well, I had to sign for it.
Yeah. Linda says, I've heard many horror stories about DHS in your area, and I love you and support you, Jake. Linda, that means the world to me. And yes, it's happening all over the world. I'm not the only parent that is suffering from this. Believe that. I understand the reason for DSS or DHS, how you called it. I know why they're there, because in the event that a child is molested or beaten or starved or something like that, that they can step in and save that child. I get it. But they so often do not do that. They so often attack perfectly healthy families for no reason. And that's got to stop. There's got to be somebody that'll stand up and defend these people, because there's nothing we can do. I'd have to sell everything I own just to defend myself, and I still wouldn't get my kids back. Because at the end of the day, they've already made up their mind what they wanted to do. This isn't about right and wrong. It's not about that. If it was, the first thing they would have done was arrested me. They didn't. So, here we are, still fighting over it. It's about making money and destroying the nuclear family, because that's what the government wants to do. And there's a lot of parents out there, especially single fathers, that are hopeless. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. They just all of a sudden are the bad guy, and the whole world is crashing down on top of them, and they losing their family that they're supposed to be the authority of. The Constitution says that the government cannot tell you how to raise your kids. They can't interfere with how you see fit to raise your kids. Yet they do it every day.
Every day. I know a few people it's happened to. And not just in this state.
Talk to them for just a second. I got to pee.
Well, that's nice. Shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. But yeah, it's happened to quite a few people I know. A friend of mine had hers taken, and one of her kids is in an insane asylum in Florida because of stuff like this happening. It's crazy. It's just crazy how they can just do that and get away with it. No repercussions, no consequences. Just, oh, because I said so. I watch court TV all the time with stuff that happens like that. It's ridiculous. It's just craziness. The things that they do to people. The things that they can get away with. I mean, my mom was a foster parent for as long as I can remember. But, I mean, that's different when, the kids are taken away for good causes. That's totally different. But when you got no foundation and no evidence and hearsay, it shouldn't be allowed.
And listen, I'm not winning any Great Father of the Year awards here. I'm not even a good father. But I was always there. I was there when they woke up. I was there when they left, and I was there when they came home. They never saw me drunk, and I never beat on them or anything like that. They always had food every day. They had clean clothes and shoes on their feet and toys to play with. I don't understand why I deserve to lose my family. I wrestled with that for a long time. Can I get a little more of that coffee, please? I've been fighting with that a long time, trying to make some understanding. You guys have known me for a couple of years now. I'm gathering that you guys understand that I'm not the kind of guy that don't like to know things. I don't like to not know. I don't like things that don't have answers. I don't like puzzles that I can't solve. I don't like questions that don't have answers. And I'm kind of anal about it. It's kind of my hang-up. I like to know the answer to that problem. And when I figure it out, then I can sleep. Imagine something this gravitas, something with this gravitas. They took my children, my family, my babies. These are my babies. They took them from me. What kind of a father doesn't kill all of them? What kind of a father lets that go? What kind of a father would stand there and be defenseless? Here I am. I can't do anything about it. That kept me up a lot of nights. A lot of nights. I came that close to being a drunk several times, or worse. But I've come to terms with the fact that there are no answers. This happened out of malice purely. They did it to hurt me. That's it. I don't like it, but that's the answer. It's the only one I can come up with anyway. Not a very intelligent answer. Doesn't have a lot of rules or understanding, any depth, any meaning, but that's the only answer I've got. They just wanted to hurt somebody, and they did. And they don't even know me. And they don't have anything to do with my children. They're grown.
And you have no criminal record?
It's not like I'm a violent man. It's not like I have a criminal record or anything. Thank you. I don't. The only thing I've ever been in trouble for in my life is driving violations. But apparently, on an accusation without cause, on a first offense, you can just destroy somebody, take their whole family away from them. Apparently. I didn't know that. So here's my advice. If you have or are thinking about having children, do not ever, under any circumstances, ever put them in a public school. Don't do it. Do not ever ask for food stamps or Medicaid or anything that puts your name in the system. Do not give them that power. Starve first. You'll be safer, I promise. Whew. Then my chat jumped. Hang on. Amber says, the only reason I got to keep mine was every time they asked my daughter, where was mommy when he was doing this? And she would say I was at work or at school. Thank God you got to keep your kids. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that there's people like that in the world that would take advantage of a child like that. I'm sorry that she had to deal with that. But there's no reason they should destroy a family over anything short of that. Amber says, Pinky promise, Jake, I understand. Thank you, dear. I appreciate you. Prayers and hearts. Chris says, my wife and I were foster parents, and we were always told the goal was reunification. Unless you're me. Unless the school decides to throw a hissy fit and take your family away, and then there's no possibility. They gave me no option. I asked every single time I entered the building to give me a way to get back to my kids. Every time. I tried everything I knew how to do. I learned some things to try that I didn't know how to do. I never missed a moment that they allowed me with my children. I never missed a single one of visitations. I did everything they asked of me, regardless of how stupid it was. I did it. No chance. No opportunity. And at the end of it all, I was whisked away without any afterthought. Just gone. Just get out of here. It's over. You lose your rights as a parent. That's it. You tell me what sense that makes. Debbie says, I believe you and I support your decision not to pay. I'm not so sure I would not have done the same thing on principle. I can't pay them. I've thought about it. It would make my life easier to just give them the $1,000. But I can't. I cannot give them money knowing what they did. It just hurts me. It burns me to try to think of doing that. I can't do it. I know ultimately they're going to put me in jail over that $1,000. I know that. But they can't threaten me because they took the most valuable thing I had possession of. They destroyed the most thing I believe in, the most thing that I cherish. There is nothing they could do to me that would hurt worse than what they've already done to me. I've been in prison since the day they took my kids away. Believe that. Believe it. And it's a way worse prison than any place they'd put me. And I can't believe they'd keep me long because they got to pay to put me there. So it would cost them more to put me there. I can't believe they'd do that.
I think the maximum on child support is 6 months.
Over $1,000. You've already destroyed my family and my future and the man that I was. But you're also going to cost me 6 months of my life? Think about that. Amber says, smiley faces and hearts. Thank you, Amber. Keeping it light and lovey in here. I appreciate you. I'm sorry to dump all this on you, but I wanted you to have an explanation as to why I was being cagey last week and why I may vanish one day. It ain't because I'm going anywhere. I'll be back. Amber says, if my daughter would have said I was anywhere around, I'd have lost my children or been in jail, right?
Or both.
Well, see, I don't know what my kids said or what they coerced them to say. I don't know because they wouldn't allow me to be part of that. I have no idea who made an accusation or what they were running on. I have no idea what neglect and abuse means. Even though I asked, they didn't tell me. There's no explanation on the paper. What does that mean? You think I molested her? You think I beat her? You think I starved her? What? I don't know. I think it's just an excuse. I think they wanted to hurt a family. I think that's what it is. I really think that's the answer. I think it's the devil, and I think he's trying to destroy God's people. I really believe that. Chris says in Colorado there's a law that you can be charged with child abuse if you don't affirm your child's selected gender. And I suspect strongly that that way of thinking has something to do with all of this, because that's what was going on at the time. And my daughter is now gay. I know this because she still hangs out with my niece, not because I've seen her or spent any time with her.
Well, and I've seen her Facebook, and it says he, them, or
Yeah.
yeah. She, yeah, and she has a male's name. It's not even her name.
Yeah. I didn't raise her to do that either.
He, him, something is what her profile says.
And the bottom line is I would not have allowed that. I wouldn't have allowed her to do that. And I think that they removed me from the equation because I would not allow it, because I raised her on God, not on school. So I really believe, even though I have no proof of it, I really believe that's the reason all this happened. I don't think the cutting had anything to do with it. I think that was just a foot in the door. And I think they were counting on that. That's why they were showing those videos to children. Why would you show children things like that? Dennis says they committed double jeopardy on me, took my money, and locked me up. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry to anybody that had to go through anything similar to this. It is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. It is the most heartbreaking, most damaging thing that's ever occurred in my life by far. I've really been struggling with it. Amber says, I made a deal with the devil. Let him plea out to get locked up till she turned 18. And they let him out when she turned 16. And instantly they let him out early on good behavior. It's terrible. You see, I think if a man hurts a child, there shouldn't be any jail involved. I think they should take him right out back and let his brain out for a walk. That's what I think. The wood chipper. Nugget says, in Britain, you don't have to pay child support if the state takes your kids. That's the law in UK. I never trusted social workers. I was a foster child. I'm sorry that you were a foster child. And in America, they can just stick it to you any way they want to, apparently. Because I thought there were laws, and I didn't see anybody cite a single law. And everything they did, even though it treated me like a criminal, they said to my face, we're not accusing you of a crime or calling you a bad father or anything.
Then what are you doing?
Why are we here? What is this about? Let me take my kids and go home then. Nope. They said that to my face. We're not accusing you of being a bad father or anything. Can somebody please... Can an adult stand up and put an end to this nightmare? Please? Not yet. Amber says, I accepted him locked up till she was 18 so she wouldn't have to testify in open court and say what he did. Right. I understand that. Is she doing okay? Is she strong? Amber says, Pinky promise, Jake, I understand. Thank you, ma'am. Prayers and smiley faces. Chris says, social services will also screw over foster parents, too. Foster parents are also under a microscope. Well, we have some foster parents in here, and I really wish I knew them when all of this was happening, because I would have loved to have asked a few questions that I didn't know the answers to. But unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. Debbie says, so can you get a pro bono attorney to sue for back child support from your wife for the 14 years to offset the amount you owe for 4 years? Fight fire with fire. I've thought about that.
It's not worth it.
Ultimately, I never wanted child support. I don't believe in that. So I'm not going to betray who I am just to get back at somebody when I don't even know if she's the cause of it. I'm sure she played into it, but I'm pretty sure she was happy the way things were because she's the one that walked out on them in the first place. So I stepped up and I quit being a rock star to be a daddy. And that's where I was until they took them from me. And Judy says, right, Debbie. And Judy says, abuse would be if you punched her. Yeah, well, no accusations of anything like that, just the word. Chris says, the worst thing to be is a straight white male. Well, I learned that at some great expense. Linda says, Chris, I'm a foster parent still, and I'm still friendly with the parents of some of the kids that were reunified. Well, thank God for that. Thank God some of them got to go back to their parents. I unfortunately will never see my children again, and I know that there's some people out there that bear the names of my children, but I don't know them. I don't know anything about them or what they do or where they're at or what they like or anything. They're just strangers. My children basically died a decade ago. Basically. They're still here, but all of the things are the same. I mourned them. I lost them. I won't get them back. Tell me what the difference is. Judy says, right, Chris. And Amber says, my heart is crying for you, Jake. Thank you, dear. Mine is too. John says, just wish I met you a long time ago, Jake. Me too, John. Well, you met me now, so I eagerly await our long and storied friendship. Chris says, we fostered 3 kids and adopted them all. We adopted our niece at the age of 12 and our twin boys at the age of 4. That's beautiful. Thank God there's people like you in this world, you and Linda. I don't know if I have the tools to do what you guys do. And I know a lot of people don't. And those kids need people that are strong and fear God and will do the right thing and will protect them. And thank you for that. It's a thankless job. I don't imagine there's a whole lot of people patting you on the back, but I understand the sacrifice you're making. Oh, thank you, Amber. It's too late now, though. Amber says, fly me there. I'll go stand next to you and Miss Amber. Well, I wish I'd have knew you back then. I'd have certainly called on you. None of my friends showed up or family. My sister did. Thank her. My niece didn't, though, and I asked her, too. She just bailed on me. Judy says, if I'm not here Friday, it's because I'm out with friends. Right? Now, aren't they changing your interest? Aren't they charging you interest? Probably. I haven't heard, but I would imagine they are. But I imagine they're going to get whatever they can get any way they can get it. What it is? What's up, buddy? He says, where's Jake? He's here. Under all this hair like Cousin It. And Judy says, hey, what it is? And what it is you seen a police officer with a subpoena. Did you tell them put a subpoena back in his pants? Yeah. I should have told him to get off my property. But
that's what happened that night on the podcast when he told me to go get the door.
Yeah, that was a police officer.
That was them serving the subpoena that night.
At 8:30 at night. Or whatever it was.
And then they served another one a couple of days later in the middle of the day when he was at work.
And what it is says, hello, Jake and Amanda, to all Untethered Live. Hello, what it is. Nice to see you. Linda says, I've adopted 4 out of care, and I am adopting the sibling of one of them now. Well, God bless you, Linda. You're doing God's work.
Hamburger Helper Hand, what it is.
Fab Daddy says, I was thinking about doing a Freedom of Information Act request demanding all checks written to my wife from the state I'll pay that I owe The state, I'll pay what I owe the state, but they must prove that I owe it. That's not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea. If you're being hounded for child support and they're taking advantage of you and you know it, it's not a bad idea to get some evidence on them. Because they're going to get it. If they can see, here's one thing I did learn. I'm a quick study. Now, they're playing a game I didn't know the rules to, and I didn't understand the game. But I am a quick study, and I picked up a lot in that journey. And one of the things I learned is they're counting on the fact that you don't know what they know. You don't know the little forms, or even that you need them, or where to get them, or what to put on them. You don't know anything like that. You got to have a law degree to know those things, and you can make worlds of things happen if you know the paperwork to go get and who to talk to. But you don't, and nobody does, and they keep that stuff secret. And if you ask, they won't tell you. You'll have to beat it out of them, so to speak, hem-haw around until they actually give you some kind of an answer. And then you got to put 2 and 2 together to figure it out. Go see a magistrate and, or go talk to a lawyer who will slip and tell you the right form. But it's a game. They're playing chess, and they're good at it, and they do it every day, all day long. And you come in there and don't know anything about what they're doing. All you can hear is that accusation, and that you're reeling over that. You're not even thinking about the logistics of what they're doing. They're count on that. They play on it. They prey on it. So be careful, and if you can get some evidence, get it. And regardless of what they tell you on TV, in my court, they did not have a stenographer, and they did not record the situation. Now, I thought that they always recorded court.
They do.
They did not. There are no manuscripts or what's the word?
That would be a manuscript.
Paper. There's no record of what was said on that day. I've asked for it. They don't have it. Transcript. There are no transcripts. So.
They have them. They just make you pay for them.
Well, I was told they didn't record it.
It's recorded, whether it was typed or recorded on microphones.
See, I thought that was the case.
It is.
And they have a sound system. There are microphones there, but apparently they were not recording. So what they said to me, I can't prove that they said it. And when I call back, I got a photographic memory sometimes. When I call back what they said, the way they said it, and they say, I didn't say that. Oh, yes, you did. And if you had a recording, I could prove it to you. But they don't, so.
Yeah, they just want you to pay like $4 a page for the manuscripts. Or transcripts, whatever they call them.
Fat Daddy says, if my son needed anything, I got for him. Yeah, I felt the same way. I told both of my kids and my ex-wife, look, it ain't even got to be weird. There's no reason for you to need anything. If you need anything, just tell me, and it's yours. I mean, she's the mother of my children. Obviously, I don't have to like her. I'll take care of what she needs. And I told them all that repeatedly. They've never called on me. But I'm not going to let the government force me to do what I should do naturally anyway. If they need anything, it's theirs. I'll go get it, whatever it is. But they don't have any right to tell me that. And I'm not going to allow it. I can't allow it. It's wrong. Now, I'm not being a hypocrite. I do things that are wrong too. But when I know I'm right about something, I can't do the wrong thing. Chris says, there have been foster children that have been lost in the system. I bet.
Oh, yeah.
I bet. And it's unfortunate. Fab Daddy says child support is a racket. It really is. And that's what I'm under right now, is a racket. So, have a little patience with me. I'm trying. I'm trying to be a good man. Nugget says, I was placed in foster care and I was abused from them, so the state made my life unbearable. I was safe with my real family. Yeah, it seems to me that every time they get involved, they just make it worse. That's the way it looks to me. I don't think they have a right to get involved. It's my family. They don't have a right to take them from me, but they did, and I can't stop it. So I just have to sit here and seethe because I can't fight because they'd just throw me in jail. So they win. They got it. What can I do? I guess I'm a coward.
You can't fight with your hands tied behind your back.
Yeah. Debbie says my head is reeling over $1,000. I know, right?
Yeah.
$1,000. That's it. And make your bladder flatter, says Chris. Yeah, I know. Got to do something.
And it's funny because on the paperwork it says that he was ordered to pay $0 in child support, but he's in the arrears is $1,050 some or something like that.
Whatever it is.
I was like, how is that even possible?
What it is says insane in the membrane.
Yeah.
Fab Daddy says, my ex just keeps moving further away until she left the state. And somehow California thinks I owe her money. Get out of Dodge. I know, right? I've had zero contact with my children, and you want me to pay for that privilege? No. I'm not going to pay for children that I can't see. Fab Daddy says they garnish so much of my wages without caring about my son, just them needing to be a middleman, right? Right? They just want to get involved and get that paycheck. That's why I think all those things I went through, the parenting classes and they're just checking the boxes to make sure everybody gets paid in the system, 5 lawyers against me. Why do you need 5 lawyers? I don't even understand the game that we're playing or the rules to it. 1 lawyer would, run circles around me. Why 5? Just to make me feel attacked?
And the judge was a trip.
Yeah.
She had it out from him the moment he walked in the door.
That's a fact. John says, I look in a man's eyes and see what a good man you are, Jake. Oh, thank you. I'm just a man. I'm not a good man or anything like that. I'm just a man. I make mistakes. I do good. I do bad. I procrastinate. I'm scared of things. I fight when I shouldn't fight. Whatever. I'm just a guy. But thank you for saying that. It means a lot. Walter Davis says, good evening, everybody. Hey, Walter. What's happening, Captain? Nice to see you. Judy says, hey, Walter.
Hamburger helper hand, Walter.
Linda says, hamburger helper hand, Walter.
Hey, let her do it tonight.
Right. Nugget says, hi, Walter. Thumbs up. Fab Daddy says, all that child support did to me makes me work under the table. I stopped paying taxes. I did too. I stopped paying everything. Everything. If it went to the state, I didn't pay it. So I'm going on a decade with nothing. I don't pay anything. The only thing I will pay is my land taxes because I can't not have a place to live. Other than that, I don't give them nothing. I don't want a regular job since the state will just take it. I, too, am putting my foot down. So you understand where I'm standing here. You get it. Okay. At least somebody does. Patty says, spiritual war, Jake. Yes. And I'm on the front line of that spiritual war, and I'm getting my ass kicked. Oh, Nugget hit me with a 20-pound super chat and says, sending you healing prayers, Jake and Amanda. Thank you, John. I appreciate that very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Nugget.
That is not the reason I told you guys this, by the way. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to have an explanation as to what was going on. But thank you. It will come in handy. Walter says, hey, Jake, Amanda, Judy, Linda, John, Fab, Chris, and Amber. And Fab Daddy says, hey, Walter. Walter says, what happened, Jake? Oh, I was just explaining why I had to go to court over child support.
Got one more court date. Hopefully one more.
Hopefully one more. And hopefully it'll be in the rearview mirror after that. Daddy says he was explaining how his kids got taken away. Yep. And Walter says, yeah, don't explain your thing with children to us. Explain it. Explain it to God. We will make the arrangements. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
You're talking about how they'd say one thing and then you'd go to answer it, and the way you were explaining it earlier, I don't know how to explain what he was saying when he said that, or what you were saying when he said that.
I got you. Amber says the kicker to my situation was when he got out of jail, he got disability payments, and I never received a penny of child support.
Yep.
The children and I struggled for 3 hots and a cot, and he had it made.
Yep. Once you get state money, they can't take state money from you.
Well, I happen to be applying for disability, so maybe that'll come in handy one day. I don't know if I'll ever get it, but I'm trying. Walter says going back to parents isn't always a good thing. Well, it would have been in this case. They shouldn't have never been involved. But they were. And Judy says, amen, Walter. Amber says he receives SSI when he received SSI when he got out, and the state of Georgia told me that they could not garnish federal payments.
Nope.
Right. I'm sure that somebody told him to do that so that he could have that money, too. Amber says, horrifically awful. It really is. I'm sorry you have to go through that, honey. Chris says, I hope you're my next door neighbor in heaven. Well, thank you, buddy. If I am, I'll keep the kids off your lawn. Amber says, and yes, Jake, my daughter is grown, healthy, and happy with 3 of her own. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that she survived that and is doing good. And all of my love to you guys. Walter says, Linda and I had parents that played the kids like fiddles. Kids went home and parents dropped them on their face. Oof.
And I want to say thank to everybody that checked on me while this was going on. I appreciate that. You know who you are.
Yeah, that's very nice of you guys. Appreciate it. Of course, everybody thought I was beating on you or something, but whatever. I'm used to it. And Debbie says, so, I am trying to understand, is there already a judgment against you for the amount you owe? I suppose so, yeah. It's a definite amount. I forget the exact amount. It's 1,000 and some change per kid. So that'd be $2,000 and some change.
No, they're both the same case number, aren't they?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at the paper.
I think that it's just 1,000.
Whatever it is, it's money that they want, and I got to pay it. Or not. And I'm leaning strongly towards not, because I don't like the idea of it at all. Walter says, Linda, are we adopting EJ? Linda says, I am, Walter. They have started the paperwork.
Congratulations, Linda.
Congratulations. That's beautiful. God bless you, and may you all have a long and fruitful, happy life. And thank you from the deepest place in my heart that you do things like that, because the world needs people like you. Transcript. Yes, that's right, Chris. I couldn't think of the word. That happens to me a lot more and more these days, that I know words, they just get lost, and I have to hunt for them. Walter says, okay, I'll talk with you later about it. Amber says, the recording is in your favor, of course. They don't have copies. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. That's why they said they didn't have a recording, because it would have proved how childish that they were all acting and how they had it out for me from the get-go, and they had just made that decision before I ever got there. I really didn't need to be there. That was just that whole trial, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't a trial. The whole thing was just to cover their ass so they can say they did it thing. But the decisions were already made. Nothing I said made any difference whatsoever in the outcome.
And yeah, because the court shows that I watch, they won't even hold a hearing if their audio isn't working.
Yeah, Dennis says no warrants and they can take your kids if there's one report. I know. Believe me, I know. I don't have any criminal history. I never even saw a police officer. I never saw an investigator or anybody in official capacity. Nobody ever talked to me about it. It was never discussed. I didn't even know that taking my kids away was on the table. I sent them to school on a regular day, and I never saw them again. That's just that fast.
He never even had a case report for anything prior to that for the children either.
Right. And the only way they were involved in the government at all is when I got custody of the kids, they automatically put them on Medicaid because that's part of the deal. That's what the judge set up. So I had that. But I didn't go apply for it. It was just part of the deal. When I got custody, they were 6 months old, and I got custody of them. And in that court, there was a male judge. I hate to say it, ladies, but I think that meant something. That male judge saw that my wife was abandoning us, and he gave me custody hands down. I did not have a lawyer. I did not have anything prepared, and I threw a folder at her lawyer and got reprimanded by the judge and almost put in contempt, and he gave me custody.
Full custody
that day. So that'll tell you how bad she was.
Well,
Well, this time around, it was different. There was a female judge, and she did not like me at all. From the get-go, I was trying to be respectful and light and, answer their questions and be charming and all that. Didn't matter. Hatefulness all the way. To the point where I was like, should you be talking like that? You're a judge. You're supposed to be impartial, right? I'm like, what are you doing? You got an attitude? If the judge has an attitude, you're in trouble. Because, it's personal. That's the way it felt. It felt like it felt like I was in high school and all the mean girls were picking on me. That's what it felt like. So, what do you do then? If you can't afford an attorney, you're done. Oh, I know. If I could afford an attorney that was worth his salt, they'd be paying me $1 million right now. I guarantee it. Because what they did was immoral and illegal. What they did, the way they did it, you cannot just take somebody's family. The problem is there's nobody to tell. The judge is as high as it goes. There's nobody. She doesn't work for anybody. She's elected. So who do you complain to? The president? He won't answer your call, I promise.
Well, this one might.
I tried talking to the local senator or governor or whatever he is. He said there wasn't nothing he could do about it.
The kids are in their 20s now, Walter.
Yeah, this all happened a while ago. It's just still haunting me. And I had to go to court this week over it. And I was afraid that they were going to throw me in jail. So I told everybody that I might be taking a break. And so tonight I'm explaining why I said that. Walter says, Jake, reach out when the kids turn 18. Tell them your side. Yeah, well, I don't know if they know my side. I don't know if they chose their side. I don't know. All I know is they vanished. But they're over 18 now anyway. My guess is, and I'm doing a lot of that because I don't know. But my guess is they put my daughter in a little room like I was in, a big white table, a little tiny chair with 3 grown-ups standing over top of you, real intimidating like, and questioned her until they got the answers they wanted. And I feel like they coerced her into admitting to something, whether it was true or not, or what it was, I don't know. But I feel like that's what they did. And that's how they were able to get the ball rolling and take my kids and send me to court and all that stuff. Because it was real hush-hush when I tried to find out the actual reason why I was in court. Because it wasn't written anywhere. Neglect and abuse with a slash. Neglect/abuse. That's what the paper said. Nothing beneath it. No expounding on those 2 words, which are the most nebulous words in the English language. They could literally mean anything. I don't know. Patty says, know better, do better, right? Walter says, hey, Patty. Linda says, Walter, by the way, EJ is not gay. It was definitely the people and the thing taught in school. Hey, there's another one.
Right.
He even has a girlfriend now, and I do not know if I told you that or not. That's exactly what happened in this case. My daughter just came in one day while I was there. I went to see my son, and she was there, and I thought I was going to get to visit with her. She came in and sat across the table from me, and there was a caseworker in between us, and she held up a picture of a little black girl, and she says, this is my girlfriend. I just wanted you to know. And I said, what? She says, I'm gay. And I looked at the caseworker, and I said, what'd I say? I said, you guys think you're actually helping here, right? And she turned to say something to me, and Kylie, my daughter, got up and walked out of the room. And that was the last time I saw her face to face for 5 years. Believe me, if they were in my custody, that would not have happened. And Patty says, Father will make it right. I know he will. I just don't know if I can wait that long. I've thought about going to see him about it a couple of times, but I decided against it. Walter says, LOL, Linda, I knew he wasn't. And Dennis says, I fought them and actually won many times, but they never give up. There was zero disagreement on mine or my baby's mama. They tricked her into it. They seem to do that a lot, Dennis, tricking people, twisting words. They twisted everything I said. If I said anything, they tried to make it sound like I was lying. One time we were talking about the cutting. I said I saw no evidence that she was doing that. I said I see the girl every night when she gets out of the shower. I would have noticed. You know, she walks right through the living room every night after she takes a shower. I would have noticed. And you know what that woman did? She insinuated that I was perving on her in her bathroom. That's what she did. I told that woman, I said, you better be very careful what comes out of your mouth next. Because if you go where I think you're going to go, we're going to have a problem. I live in a small house. My bathroom, the door opens up into my living room. You can't walk through the house without passing somebody. It's a small house. How dare you insinuate that I was doing something sexual to my daughter? But they did. That's the kind of games they play. Patty says, hey, Walter. And Linda says, right, Walter, smiley face. Debbie says, zero child support. The $1,000 could be court costs. I have no idea what it's for. All I know is they want it. Dennis says, we were never against each other. I think they threatened her with charges to get her to sign on me. I don't know. I don't know what your situation is, but I can guarantee you they play games with people.
Oh, yeah. They'll get you to go for food stamps and Medicaid and stuff just so they can put child support on the father.
Yeah.
Or whoever doesn't have custody. They do that a lot.
Linda says they wanted to intimidate you, Jake. Oh, yeah. They've been trying to do that since the beginning of this. Trying to put me in my place. There's a problem with that, though. I'm not intimidatable. I don't play that game. And apparently that's not very good if you're in a legal situation to be who I am. They don't like that. They want you to be submissive and subservient, and I'm not. I'm brash, well-educated, and well-spoken, and they don't like it. And more than once I had to ask, are we speaking English here? Because I would say words like unintentional, and then the lawyer said, so you're saying it's an accident? Did I say that? You understand the difference between those two words, right? Unintentional is something that just happens. An accident is caused by folly. Those are not the same thing. Judy says, thanks, Nugget. Yes, thank you very much. That will look good on my monthly check. Debbie says, if it's court costs, pay it. Go on the 1st of every month or Friday every week and pay $1. I think they want more than $1.
Listen, finish it.
They have to take the payment, and it will cause more paperwork. And in that case, fuck them.
Right.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know somebody that paid their fines and court costs in pennies.
Yeah, I think she wants $400 from me for the first payment. So I got to come up with that. And that's just the way it's going to be. But I'll get through it. And when I'm done with it, the last payment, I'm going to tell them all what I think about them. And I'm going to tell it loudly so that everybody in the building can hear me. Amanda says,
thanks, Nugget. Heart.
are you seeing double?
Yeah.
Okay. Walter says, hey, Dennis. And Patty says, listen, been going in and out for a while. War. Oh, I know. I am in war. I've been at war for a decade. Like I said, the only thing I knew to do was start a ministry. Lean into God. That's all I could do. It's the only defense I had. So I started this ministry. And you are the product of it. So thank you for being here all this time later. You have no idea how you saved my life. I mean that. Walter says, Linda, I never cared if EJ was gay. I just thought because he really liked girls that he wasn't. Dennis says they overcharged me by, I guess that's $15,000. That's a lot. That's what I expect child support to be. Something like that. Some ridiculous number. The fact that they only want $1,000 from me per child, I think it is. That don't make any sense to me at all. That sounds like a joke. They're like somebody's messing with me. Why would you even go to court over that little bit amount of money? Why would you even bring it up? It's 4 years past their being 18. They've been on their own for a while now. They don't need my money. If they did, they could ask for it, and I'd give it to them. Chris says it takes a village to raise a child. Not. Well, my village was one. And I did everything. Walter says, Chris quoted from The Village Idiot. Fab Daddy says, damn, Dennis. Yeah, that's a lot of money, buddy. I hope that you got that under control because they'll sure put you in jail over it.
Not if they overcharged him that much.
I mean, if they overcharged you, then that means you'll get it back, right?
You would think.
Dennis says, I had to fight like hell, and because I beat them, they made up money I owed. As it turned out, they made me pay money another judge had ruled I didn't have to pay because I was locked up for 9 years. Good gracious, Dennis. What were you locked up for, if you don't mind me asking?
I think we've had this conversation before.
Amy's here. Hey, Amy. She says, I'm sorry you're going through this, Jake. Sending prayers. I've been here working and lurking. Well, I'm glad you're here, honey. And thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to be all mealy-mouthed and poor me, but I just wanted to give everybody an explanation. Patty says, after your YouTube dollars, Jake, they're after something. They'll get it, too, because it's about all I can make. And Walter says, my mother went to bed early. That's why I can be here tonight. Well, I'm glad you're here, buddy. I've been missing you. And Judy says, hey, Amy. Dennis says, which was food stamps she got while I was locked up for at 17 to 26 years of age. Yeah, that's crazy, man. So they're charging you for the food stamps they gave her? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll charge you for food stamps and Medicaid and all that. They'll charge the non-custodial parent for that. If the other one is getting food stamps or government assistance of any kind.
Yeah, then it says, newsflash, food stamps ain't child support, right? Unless they're fraud, you never have to pay back food stamps, right? If they give you food stamps that you don't have coming to you, you have to pay it back. I've heard people have to do that before. And then my chat jumped.
9:58.
There. And Dennis, Walter says, I ended a 2.5-year lawsuit, but standing up in oral arguments and speaking for myself, my lawyer thought we were going to get screwed for breach of procedure. Why? Because you were talking for yourself? I basically had to also because my lawyer just sat there like a stump on a log, and no matter what anybody said, it was like he didn't know the word object. I looked at him several times. I was like, are you just going to let them say that? You're not going to say anything? I object. Hearsay? Nothing? Circumstantial? I mean, I watch court TV. Jesus, man. Do something. Nothing. Never said a word. He was just there to fill out the paperwork, I think.
I've been asking for a new lawyer.
Well, that was the only one I could get. I live in a small town, so I guess I was lucky to have him, but he sure didn't help this situation much. Or maybe he did. Maybe that's why they only won $1,000. I don't know. You would have thought that they would have just went on and put the nails in my coffin because they were certainly trying to kill me. And Walter says, that's why there's an appeals process. Oh, you want to talk about appeals? Let me explain it to you. When the judge took my children from me, finally, officially, after 6 or 8 months of going to court, almost a year of going to court, finally, they win, obviously. I appealed. My lawyer did not. I appealed. About a month later, I got an email from a strange person, but it had a legal name, so I answered it. And it turned out it was a lawyer. Said, I'm your lawyer for the appellate court. And I'm going to hear your case Tuesday. I'm making up words because I don't remember what all it said. But he's my lawyer, or she's my lawyer, and she's going to court. I was like, well, when? Where? Well, you don't have to be there. I'll handle it. I don't have to be there? Are you sure? Yeah. This is in Raleigh, North Carolina, not the town I'm in. It's 80 miles away. And then I get another email a couple of days later. You lost. Sorry. So I sent several emails back like, hey, can we argue the case? Is there anything we can do? I mean, can I show up? Can I talk to the judge? Nope. None of that. I got an email saying I had a lawyer. I got an email saying that the court was happening. And I got an email saying I lost. I have no idea what happened in that court case or who was there or what they saw or said or did. I don't know. I just didn't win. I know that. So that's the appellate court here. That's how that works. Oh, and the nifty little rule that you can only appeal once. Can't appeal twice. Which I thought was illegal. I thought you could appeal 3 or 4 times, but nope. Amy says the court judiciary review board. Yeah, who's that? We don't have one, apparently. I know that there are 3 other judges that are, what do you call it? Oversight. There are 3 judges in the lineup of judges. She's one of them, by the way, who have oversight to see if any judges are acting out of line or whatever. And if they complain and all agree, then they can send a formal complaint to their boss or whoever, the senator of the state or whatever it is, and get something done. They're in the same boat she's in, and they work for the same team that she does. And if I complain to them, I would just get rejected. So there's no sense in going through all that, and it costs an arm and a leg to do, by the way, because every step is paperwork that you have to buy. Pay for that paperwork, only to wait for God knows how long to get an answer. And the answer would be, yeah, we're going to stay with our team. So, yeah, that judiciary board, the review thing ain't the way to do it. I could, complain, but that's it. Debbie says it was set up, and in hindsight, the first mistake was signing the paper releasing the school from blame. I know. I didn't know that then. I was just trying to get to my kids. And it's the devil's in the details. You live and you learn, and you don't sign papers. But I didn't know that then. There's a lot of things I didn't know back then that I know now. A lot. This whole LGBT angle, I didn't know that back then. This is when all that just was first getting started, and it hadn't really kicked in here yet. I mean, right around here it was pretty much a normal neighborhood, Now it's crazy. Now it's like New York or whatever, how they act. But back then, it sounded like something you hear on cable TV, not something that happens in your neighborhood, You live and you learn. Dennis says, oh, they never have a record of those type of cases because they are crooked and amateurs and mess up so much. That's what I'm thinking. Walter says, Amy, I got a judge and a prosecutor fired through the judicial review, through the appeals in the governor's office. Well, why aren't you here fighting for my case? I need somebody that can get that done. I would love to cause them a lot of problems. Believe me, I would. But I've not found a way I could. Dennis says their judge said it was double jeopardy to the prosecutor. No lie. But still locked me up. Yeah, they shouldn't lock you up over double jeopardy. They should let you go over that. It's even worse in small towns where there are fewer lawyers, says Dennis. Exactly, and that's where I'm at. I can't even go ask for a lawyer because lawyers have this thing that they do that if they take a consultation, that it's in poor interest to listen to the opposite side, right? So even if I go consult with a lawyer, if that lawyer was consulted by the other side, they won't see me. There are 3 lawyers in this town. I got one of them. The other 2 are off limits because they've already talked to the other side. That's how they play that game. If you get a lawyer, you have to bring him in from somewhere else and pay him a lot of money to come here and do it because the lawyers that are here, they all work together. Walter says, you got to know how to fight in a bar room. The street and courtrooms are all different, right? Dennis says, it was so one-sided, it was like the judge was teaching the DA how to practice law against me. I kind of felt that way too, except I had 5 lawyers against me from different factions. One was like from the state, and one was like from child services, and one was, I don't remember what they were all for, but they were all different lawyers representing my 2 kids, apparently. I don't know how all of that came about. But there was 5 of them against me, and every one of them had different kinds of questions. So I felt like I was in the hot seat the whole time, rapid fire, trying to answer questions and not incriminate myself. It was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, the kids had what's called guardian ad litems.
I think that might have been one of them.
Which is their lawyers that the judge appoints to the kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, there were 5 of them different kinds of lawyers, and they were all mean, and they were all out to get me. And I felt like I was on a chopping block or something. And I'm intensely a private person. I don't even like to be asked what I want for dinner. I don't even like that. It grates on me. I don't like being prodded. So for me to go through that was the most humiliating and emasculating thing I've ever had to go through. It felt like I was having my skin ripped off of me the whole time. It's not fun. I can promise you that. Chris says, my daughter was in a same-sex marriage. She divorced her wife and married her children's father, and they are happily married now and have 3 beautiful children. Well, that's lovely. Thank God she came to her senses. I don't know what my daughter's going to do, but I doubt it's going to produce grandchildren. Linda says, Chris, same thing happened with my neighbor's daughter. Can I claim indigence for my financial situation, says Chris. I don't know. I'm not indigent, so I don't know if I could or not.
No, the only thing he can do right now is get on disability.
John says, use a megaphone so they hear it, Jake. Let them have it. Oh, I'm gonna. If I do pay them, when I make that last payment, they're gonna know I left the building. I promise you that. And I might ride up there on my Harley just to make it extra official when I leave. Linda says, it's only that little probably because they served you severed your parental rights years ago. Right. Yeah, they did that while I was in court. Well, the judge said she was going to do it. I never saw any paperwork, and I never went through any process, so I don't know if she did it or not. But she did say to me that she would taken my parental rights away from me.
Well, if they'd have done that, then they'd have stopped the child support.
That's what I would have thought. If you're releasing me from my obligation of a father, why do I have to pay child support?
And he wouldn't have had visitation.
Yeah. So I don't know if she ever did it or not, but she did say it. Dennis says, my baby mama and we are still nice to each other. She passed away. She was going to help me fight them. We still loved each other, actually. High school sweethearts. She passed on Christmas Eve. I'm so sorry to hear that, Dennis. God bless you and your ex-wife. And I know that she's in the Father's arms right now, enjoying all the mysteries of heaven. So be thankful for that. I'm sorry for your loss. That's a very short amount of time ago. Are you doing okay? Are you holding up? She died in her sleep. Oh, that's good. If you got to go, that's the way to do it. Peaceful. Judy says, so sorry, Dennis. Amanda.
Sorry, Dennis.
Walter says, sorry, Dennis. And John says, sending prayers for everyone. Sending prayers back at you, John. I pray for you guys twice a week, whether you need it or not. Linda says, our children and youth called me yesterday. Our children and youth called me yesterday and asked if I would go on TV to talk about my experiences with being a foster parent. Really, our children and youth, that's like a Catholic church kind of thing?
That's probably the adoption agency or the children's home or something like that.
Yeah. Amy says, Dennis, Jeremiah 31:13. I will turn their mourning into joy. I will comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow. Amen. Dennis says, thank you. It crushed my daughter. They were very close. Angie was very sweet, and we never had a cross word with each other. I'm sure she was lovely. I'm sorry you have to go through that. Loss is a thing I've come very good friends with recently in my life. And I don't think that I like that friendship very much. Amy says, Dennis, Jeremiah 31:13. I will turn your mourning into joy. I will comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow. I think I read that already, didn't I?
She must be.
Oh, it's a double type.
Yeah,
thing.
her phone must be double typing.
Dennis says, hey, Walter. Chris says, you might have had better luck hiring your dog for your lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? He might have said something. My lawyer didn't say anything, not once.
At least peed on their foot or something.
Something. Amber says, smiley faces and prayers. And Dennis says, if I had never paid anything, it would have only been $23,000. They had paperwork set at $28,000. Jesus Christ. That is robbery. With a dangerous weapon. I'm sorry, man.
That's what he was locked up for.
Oh, robbery with a dangerous... Oh, I got you. Well, did you learn your lesson? Debbie says, my niece's husband spent 2 years in county jail while the courts were trying to get charges set. And he was never charged with anything, but his ex-wife was mad he remarried and convinced their daughter. Message retracted. I'm sorry to hear that. 2 years, huh? Yeah, I feel like if they put me in jail, they could keep me there indefinitely and just keep making up trumped-up reasons to keep me there. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't like the idea of going to jail at all. I'm not jail material. My hair's too pretty. But, yeah, I'm going to do what I got to do. They're not going to bully me, I can promise you that. I can't be bullied.
He's hard-headed, too.
I'm too old to be bullied. All this reminiscing about pain is giving me a headache. Walter says, you can ask for the transcripts, the filings and appeal to the next higher court, all the way to the Supreme Court in D.C. Well, I thought so, yeah. Apparently, that's not how it works around here, though. Everything I learned from watching court TV is exactly wrong.
If he hadn't tried to appeal it the first time, then he could have probably took it to the higher courts. But once he lost that first appeal, it was the end of it. There's nothing else he could do after that.
Yeah, they got a rule here that you can only appeal child cases one time. Anything involving children. I don't know why. I guess because I could win. I always felt like if an adult saw what was going on, they would have put a stop to it and ended this nightmare immediately. But I never could get an adult's attention while it was happening. Everybody else involved were children. Dennis says, I never hurt anyone and haven't broken any laws since I got out. I've been out almost 30 years. Clean record. I was young and ran with a bad crew of dudes. I'm not judging you, buddy. You don't have to worry about that around here. I won't let anybody judge you either. Everybody falls short of the grace of God. Everybody. And everybody is entitled to a redemption. And everybody is entitled to be who they are now without their past holding on to them. I don't judge. I'm your buddy regardless of what you did. And I don't really care what you did. I just asked out of curiosity because I thought it might have something to do with the case we were talking about. Debbie says he SA'd her. Her story kept changing, and that math never mathed, so they never charged him and had to let him go after 2 years, and there's not a damn thing he can do about it.
Nope. And they won't pay him for the time he was in jail.
Yeah, Dennis says, except I smoke weed. All right, I'm judging you. Sorry bastard. How dare you?
You damn pothead.
Walter says Superior Court doesn't respect sloppy work on the lower court's behalf. I would have loved to have got a chance to take this to a Supreme Court, but they never let me anywhere near that. And I didn't have the money to pay a real lawyer who could have done that, so I just had to accept what came my way. And I wasn't real crazy about that, but that was the only choice I had. And the only option I had was to sell my house and hire an attorney. And at the end, I would have lost anyway, and I wouldn't have a house. I have nothing to leave my children when I die. And yes, I still want to leave my children something when I die, even though they're gone. Maybe they'll use it. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Dennis says, always have a lawyer. I was dumb. I knew it was child was willing to pay, but as an ex-con, jobs are hard to come by, even to this day. I knew it was child support. I got you. Sorry, my nose is itching. I hear you, buddy. It is tough to pay. And it's going to be tough for me to pay, too, but I guess if I'm going to pay it, I just want to get it over with and out of my life. Then it says if you don't have a lawyer, they will try anything. And they do, yes. Amy says the process is the punishment. Yes, it is. There's a lot of innocent people in jail because they can't afford to fight it. They take a plea deal, even if innocence, because the justice system is corrupt.
Yep.
Yes, because it's easier than fighting. I've heard of a lot of people. Yeah, safer, because if you fight and lose, you lose everything.
Yeah, and then you get the max.
And you can lose, as you can see, without having done anything wrong. So if they decide they want to win, they win, because they know the game and they know all the rules, and you don't. Dennis says, my only saving grace was my mom had access to the Star computers, so I studied up and got the figure down to $7,500, which I had to pay. Well, that's good. I can still sue them, and I might just do it. If you can, you should. He was the only one who did the double jeopardy. Crooked judges everywhere. They were once a lawyer. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Right on. Amber says, hugs, y'all. Seizure meds time and insulin time. Amber, thank you for being here and listening to me. Have a great night, and I love you. Take them meds and be good. And Judy says, night, Amber. And Linda says, no, CYS is county state agency. I got you. County state agency. I forgot what CYS stands for, but it had youth in it. Amber says, Jake and Miss Hammer, prayers and hearts and smiley faces. Prayers, hearts, and smiley faces to you, Amber. Thank you. Walter Davis says, that's cool, Linda.
Not Amber.
Dennis says, no, it was 16 years ago that she passed. Oh, I thought you said she died on you said Christmas Eve. I assumed this Christmas Eve. John says, in Britain, you can appeal 3 times, and then the Supreme Court, and then the Court of Human Rights. Well, I don't know if we have the Human Rights Court here. And in most cases, you can appeal 3 times here, too, but not in child support or child custody cases or whatever this is, whatever kind of case this is. Walter Davis says, I was looking at 18 months state time. I told them to go to hell and explained what I would do for 18 months in the library and prison after my appeal. I was going to make sure everyone involved got what was coming to him, I guess. Yeah. I hear you. Dennis says, sorry for not clarifying that, and thank you for your kind words. And I can testify what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What does kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's right, buddy. Monkey Juice says, had to rewind. Takes guts for opening up props. Well, thank you, Monkey Juice. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm glad you listened to the whole thing and didn't jump to conclusions. Walter Davis says, was going to be, make sure everyone involved was going to be prosecuted. Charges dropped 4 weekends in county and my schedule. Well, that's not bad. That's actually, you did a good job.
Hamburger Abraham, monkey.
I didn't have the time or the brain width to do that. Remember, I was mourning the loss of my children while trying to be intellectual enough to fight 5 lawyers and a judge that didn't like me very much and not lose my cool. And I assure you, no matter how tough you are, no matter how strong you are, when faced with losing your children, you will lose your cool. And apparently in court, that's how they measure whether you're guilty or not. If you get mad, you're guilty. Like, you took my family. How can I not be mad? I would be worried about somebody that wasn't mad. What do you mean? How can I not be mad? I'm angry. I'm furious. If I had my way about it, I would chew every one of you alive. Of course I'm angry. You're lucky I can carry on a conversation with you because all I see is red. But apparently you're supposed to stay calm in court and not be upset about anything they say or do.
Right.
All right, my chat jumped. Hold on.
10:34.
Judy says, "Hey, monkey." And Dennis says, "Yes, I learned my lesson. I've been straight up since I got out. 1 misdemeanor for half a joint about 27 years ago. Well, you've done better than me. Good man." And Dennis says, "It's fine. I tell everyone my history, so there's never a surprise about my past. I served 9 years straight. I paid my dues and never turned state's evidence either. Good man. Snitches get stitches."
No, snitches wind up in ditches without stitches.
Right. Nugget says, "I'm a big supporter of fathers for justice and legal things like this. I wish we had something like that around here. I looked, but I never could find any information. I looked, there was a couple of people doing reports about it on the news. Like, I think Tucker Carlson did a thing about it, and a couple of other people back when he was on Fox News. And I was trying to get involved with all of that and get them here, but it's one case in a podunk town in North Carolina. Nobody's interested. You know, it's not a big high-profile case or anything. So I could never get any media attention on it. But I wanted to do all of that stuff. I wanted to get somebody in my corner. I had nobody. And it just turned out the way it turned out. I just lost. What can you say? And what can you do? You just take it and keep moving. And so I've tried. I spent about 15 years locked down, basically being a monk. And then I decided to try to start living again. So I'm doing that now.
And here I am. I'm trying to bring you back, y'all. I'm trying.
Well, that's about enough for me for one night. Dennis says, "I was saved but reaffirmed when I got sentenced. The Lord was my shield the whole time. It was a miracle I made it through." I hear you, brother. Anybody that can survive 9 years in prison, that's amazing. You got to be tough. I couldn't even imagine losing 9 years. That's horrible. Over something like that, too. It's terrible. But you did survive, and you learned a thing or two. And I'm sure that it changed your worldview, and whatever drove you to do things like that taught you a different way. So God works in funny ways. Amy says, "What do the kids say about it now?" I have no idea. I hadn't seen them in a decade. They know you didn't do anything wrong. They have a say? Well, I asked several times if they would question him, and they never would. Like, just get him in here. He'll tell you that whatever you think didn't happen. And they never did bring him in. They brought her in, though, wearing a dress and all made up. And if you knew my daughter, you'd know that was phony from the get-go, because I couldn't get her to wear a dress to my mother's funeral. She's not a dress wearer. She's very tomboy, always was. And when she showed up with her hair all done and makeup on and a flowery dress, I knew right then that it was a put on. The only thing that I know is she had something to do with it. I don't know what. Nobody ever told me. And there is no information to glean. So unless I sit down with my children one day and have a 2 or 3 day talk, I don't think I'm ever going to know. I know that the day my son turned 18, he ghosted me. I was seeing him once a week for an hour visitation with supervision like a criminal. And the day he turned 18, we had planned to go on a hunting trip. It was his idea. He wanted to go hunting. And so I set up a hunting trip and paid a guy to take us out. And I had the guns and the ammo and the place to go hunting and the target practice and all that. And then maybe after, target practicing and getting used to the guns, we get a deer and skin a deer and, male bonding. And he was excited and I was excited. Finally, after all this time, finally he's 18 and I can just go get him and leave and nobody can say shit. And I showed up and he wasn't there. And I never talked to him again. He hasn't called. I have no idea. Linda says, by the way, Jake, I think I got my speech done. Excellent. I'll have to send it to Amanda. Maybe you all can give me pointers. Absolutely. I didn't know you were giving a speech. Somebody must have forgot to tell me something.
No, I didn't.
But yeah, I'll look at it. I'll be glad to. Whatever you need. I'm yours. Whatever you need. John says, I'll be praying still for you both and everyone. I'm going to say good night. Hearts. John, thank you, brother. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for listening to me. Have a good night, and we'll see you Friday.
Okay, Linda, and night, Nugget.
Judy says, good night, Nugget. And Linda says, good night, Nugget. And Amy says, sounds like the mother poisoned your kids against you. Don't I know it?
Dang, ain't you heard that before?
I have. That's what Amanda said. And I believe that's true. But again, I have no idea. I don't know what they think. I don't know what they know. I know that I was gagged by the court. I was not allowed to discuss it with my kids if I ever did get to see them. I wasn't allowed to bring it up or say anything that made the court look bad. That'll tell you what they were thinking about. Linda says, my son's wedding. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll say, no, I didn't forget to tell you anything.
Walter says, good night, all. Morning is coming, and like a jail on wheels. You're right. Yep, mine too. I got to get up early in the morning to go to work. Have a good night, Walter. Thank you for being here and listening. And God bless you, my friend. Linda says, good night, Walter. And Dennis says, on a positive note, last week I got to visit with my daughter and her family. 2 grandsons, nice, 16 and 18, and 1 granddaughter, 11. And my son-in-law, a cop, LOL. He's a good, God-fearing man. That's fantastic, Dennis. I'm glad you got such a lovely, healthy family. That's beautiful. I'm glad you got to spend some time with them.
Yeah, that is awesome, Dennis. Good night, Walter.
And Judy says, good night, Walter. And I'm going to say good night, guys. It's getting late. I love you all very much. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for not judging me. Thank you for being my friend. And we'll see you on Friday. God bless you all. Have a great night.
Good night, y'all. And nighters, see y'all Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for Chillstream.
God bless you all. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Much love.